Well, hello YouTube. You are at the right place. My name is Jared Fuller. Today is Sunday, December 15th, 2019. Thank you for joining me for another week of the Sunday video update. There's quite a few things to go over. Joining me off camera on the couch is my dad. Amy's out in the kitchen. I think she's getting coffee. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, she's...
GuideStar.com.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I just hit the record button and started talking. We'll get to that in a minute. Slow her down just a little bit. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Our week was busy. Dad had some teeth pulled last week, and he seems to be doing okay. How you feeling today, Dad? Sore? Yeah. Well, I suppose you're going to be sore for a while because you just had the teeth pulled last week. He's been taking 875 milligrams of amoxicillin to take away the swelling, and I guess there was a lot of infection involved. But he seems to be doing better. He's taking 500 milligram acetaminophen for the pain, and as far as that goes, I mean, he's been doing fairly well. He's actually doing better than what I would have had I had teeth pulled, which I've had teeth pulled before, and it's not a pleasant experience. Huh? You had 4 of them pulled at once? I had my wisdom teeth pulled, and the front tooth up here was pulled out. And then I had a couple back here that were pulled out a long time ago. But dentist visits are never any fun. But Dad seems to be handling it quite well, as far as I can tell. 'Cause, huh?
26, I get 4 more.
Yeah, he's got some more like in the upper part of his jaw where like they're not fully coming in, but they're there, they're noticeable, and there's infection involved, and they have to take those out too. Yeah, there's some teeth up there that have to be pulled because they did some x-rays and they spotted some infection up there, so those got to come out. But other than that, he's doing okay. Amy might have to go to the hospital today. I'm not sure. She's got some something serious going on with her wrist. She'll probably be able to fill us in on that a little bit more. But I will use this time before we talk about anything else. I'm going to take Amy's advice and remind all of you to visit GuideStar.org. GuideStar.org has a complete and comprehensive listing of all the 501c3 nonprofit organizations and LLCs approved by the federal government. Don't be fooled, don't be duped. Visit GuideStar.org today.
Only with me, it's not GuideStar.org, it's GuideStar.com.
Well, it's GuideStar.org. That's the correct web address. She wanted to get it out of the way right when I started talking. She put the reminder out there, and it's like, well, let's not jump the gun right away. But yeah, she was helpful this week in reminding me. So Dad had teeth pulled last week. Amy's having some issues with her wrist. I guess as far as me, I'm doing all right. It's been a busy week. Because I had to take Dad to the dentist, and I did some shopping at Bronner's. I think that was last week before. I don't even remember. But I've been out and about, and actually, yes, it was last week I did some shopping at Bronner's. Had some Christmas bulbs personalized for some friends of mine, and a warrior, actually, a cancer warrior. So he liked that. He enjoyed it. It's hanging up on their trees, and they messaged me and sent videos and thanked me for it. But, you know, it's just my way of saying thanks and showing gratitude. I had a little bit of money. I figured, what the hell, why not? But, yeah, I was over at Bronner's. I took Dad to the dentist. I took Amy to an appointment on Owasso, which there's a memorial clinic. It's an outpatient clinic over on Cash Street. I never knew it was there. Never knew it existed. They must have just put that in, because I don't remember there being a memorial clinic back there. But then again, I don't travel down Cash Street for anything, because there's really nothing back there. Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's a gym back there.
I don't, yeah, I don't care for hospitals. I don't like to visit hospitals, like, as a patient. But, you know, they're there if you need them. And that's that. You just got to deal with things accordingly. I was at my cousin's house last week and hung out with them for a little while. I'm hoping I get to go up to my mom's house before Christmas because I know Christmas is just coming up around the corner in 10 days. I'm hoping I get to go up there. My van needs an oil change because the engine is really knocking, like really bad. It's making a loud knocking sound. And I can hear a grinding sound when I take off. It's like a saw blade kind of a grinding sound. So I have to get that looked at and taken care of. Dad says I'm low on oil, so I'm going to have to get an oil change, which I'm due for an oil change anyway. I'm coming up on the mileage point for an oil change. So there's just so much I have to get done and out of the way. But it's been a very busy week. I'm most likely going to forget to mention a lot of things. But, you know, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing the best I can. And Dad and I were actually having this discussion last week about people who they take us for granted on a lot of things. And, you know, it is difficult to have to deal with because you have Barkley. Hey. He's got fleas. But anyway, it's a difficult thing to take, you know, when people take you for granted. And, you know, there's people out there who will love you, truly love you, as a friend, as a family member, however they consider you. They really and truly love you. And then there are those people who pretend to love you as long as there's benefits involved. And sadly and oddly enough, I see a lot of my friends falling into those kinds of traps where they think that there are, oh, one second, they think that there are people out there who really and truly love them, when in actual fact they love them to the point where they use them to make themselves look good, or they know that there's something in it for them, which is to look good. And, you know, we've got to get beyond this. We have got to get beyond that that mentality that everybody's a star, everybody's famous. No, they're not. I hear a phone ringing. It's going to be a week of interruptions.
Sorry about that, everyone.
While that's ringing, I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. But yeah, there's people out there who will take you for granted. They forget about you. And you know, when I was on Facebook, I talk a lot about, you know, childhood cancer naturally being a survivor. And I think what I've seen for the most part, or at least my feelings about that kind of thing, is that, well, Jared's out of treatment. So he's just reiterating things that have happened in years past, which does nothing for us in the present. I would actually have to argue against that, because if I'm explaining to you things that I've been through that tie in corroboration with childhood cancer, because I'm a childhood cancer survivor, that should be helpful in some ways, or at least I would like to think. There are people who have never been in my situation. They've never had to walk a day in my shoes, but they seem to have some kind of, you know, they always have an answer for everything. Or they seem to think they know so much more about something that they've never had to live through themselves. And it comes to a point where all of my other friends who are directly impacted by this, they take to these other people who are in no way affiliated with this problem or this common disease, and they take it as sanctimonious. Does that bother me? Yes. Because the people that my friends are taking guard, you know, they're just taking them at such a higher standard. that person on the pedestal, they have not the single clue at all. They have not the first clue about our daily struggles. And this is a problem that has been going on for years and years and years at a time. And instead of people actually agreeing with me and saying, well, you're right about that, I mean, who are they to speak so highly or sanctimoniously about things that they have not the first clue what we go through every day? Instead of that, what I get is, well, Jared, at least they're doing something. They're making a difference. You know, it's just, okay, so they're doing something. They're making a difference. Okay, cool. But in the same zip code or the same area of where I always say, I don't talk about what bereaved parents are feeling because it's not my place to do that. Those people who are indirectly impacted by childhood cancer as a whole, altogether, they should also have that same kind of respect enough to say, I'm not a person who was directly impacted by this. I can't describe to you what these parents are thinking and feeling because I'm not in their shoes. I've never had to walk a day in their shoes. I am not a person who had to go through that myself. But what I can say is that my heart breaks for them. That would be a more appropriate response than to sit there and pretend like you know what the fuck you're talking about when you don't have the first clue of what you're talking about or what I go through or what my friends go through. You have not the first clue. And it was made adamant on social media that I don't describe to other people the emotions of my friends who are bereaved parents because I can't tell you directly what that feels like. And I've had these discussions before. But it's just like that. I mean, I'm someone who can directly tell you facts about what I've gone through. I can tell you side effects. I can tell you chemo and radiation, what it does to you. I can tell you all those things. I can disclose that information because I've lived through it. But my education, my advocacy actually stopped at the point where we're in a territory of bereavement, where parents are discussing what they think and feel every day without their children. I can't tell you that personally. I can't say, well, this is what these families go through. This is what they're thinking and feeling every day. I can't do that. That's dishonest of me to do that. And I would never in any way disrespect my friends in that manner or at all. I try to keep civil with everybody. But I have enough knowledge enough to say, I'm not going to pretend that I know what you're going through because I don't know what you're going through. I leave that to you to describe your feelings, if possible, in words, because there are a lot of things that you just can't put into words. Your pain is indescribable. And I know I've rambled on about this for a little bit, but that's where there's a disconnect between people who are directly impacted by it, but my parents aren't bereaved parents because I survived, versus the parents who are bereaved, they're still very good friends of mine, and I don't speak for them. I'm not their PR agent. I don't make determinations about what they think and feel. Only they can describe that to people, if possible, if that's even possible. But then we have people who are indirectly affected by this, and they seem to think that they are so sanctimonious in describing what we think and feel, or what we have to live with every day, when they have not the first clue. And yes, to me, that is not only annoying, but it's dishonest. And people like that need to just knock it off. Don't pretend like you know what we go through when you have not the first clue. Even 30 years down the road, beyond my cancer battle, I've struggled for the past 30 years with a lot of things, actually. It's not a pity party. It's pain. It's struggle. It's challenges. it's everything that ties in corroboration with what I had gone through. You know? And that's the way it is. I'm not looking for pity or sympathy. I'm just expressing what I know to be true about it. So, but those are my feelings for this week. Everything else, as far as I can tell, is okay. Really nothing else to talk about. I probably am going to have to take Amy to the hospital, or Dad will have to take her to the hospital. I don't know what's going on today. I don't make plans. But it's been a long week. I survived it. And here's to another week of who knows what's going to happen. But I did. I got to hang out with my cousins over the week and visited with my uncle for a little while, and yeah. So it's nice to see family. They got their Christmas tree up, and because there's kids there, and they got their tree up, and we don't put up any kind of Christmas decorations or trees or anything like that. We haven't done that in years, and I don't think we're going to start. Now, if I had children of my own, or if I was dating a woman who had kids, maybe. Well, actually, no, maybe. I would. I would put up a tree. I'd make sure there's presents under the tree, but I'm single. I don't have kids. I don't have a girlfriend or a wife. I don't have a family of my own. And they really could care less about Christmas, so I'm just not interested. We're not going to put up any trees or decorations, and we'll probably be the only house in our mile who remains dark and dismal without Christmas decorations, because we're different like that. But everything else is aces for the most part. I still talk to my friends on Messenger and text message, and I received this. Actually, I wanted to show you guys. Uh-oh. I busted my tape roll. I received a couple of things in the mail this week. A postcard from my family in Iron Mountain, Michigan. I received this postcard. I received a Christmas card from some friends of mine who live in New York, and of course they signed it. Thank you so much for the cards and the love. I love you all so much. And I received a box of Mackinac Island fudge in the mail. I'm guessing I know who it came from, but I'm just going to say Secret Santa. But I know who it came from. This doesn't want to stay. I know who it came from, or at least I have a pretty good idea of who it came from. So I just wanted to say thank you. Much love to you always, to my friends and family out there watching this. And I hope you have a nice Christmas this year. Next week is the 22nd. So it'll be the Sunday before Christmas. So I'll probably wear my Merry Christmas hat like I did last year. I don't know. Maybe not. But thank you for the cards, and thank you for the Mackinac Island fudge. That was very nice of you to do that. I don't know what else is happening this week. As I've already stated, I pointed that out. I'm out of things to talk about. They're in the kitchen now, so who knows? Who knows what I'm going to do this week? Who knows what else there is to talk about? Actually, there's probably a lot more to talk about. I got to get up and see my mother before Christmas. I'd like to anyway. I haven't talked to her in a while, only through text message. I haven't spoken to her on the phone in a little while. I I gotta see her before Christmas. You know, my mom is the last surviving out of my grandma's 16 children. And she's the youngest. My mom is number 16 of 16 kids. So I have to get up there and see her. I just have to see my mom before Christmas. Her last surviving sibling, which was my Uncle Rick, he passed away back in March. It's, you know, and I think that's really the core of why holiday depression, and it is money, and I'm not going to deny that it's not money. It's money. Because, you know, not everybody has the money to actually, and you know, apart from the fact that we lose family members, death is a part of life, that's a given. But when Christmas, the meaning of Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas has died, because the real meaning of Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas is families being together. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with gift giving. It is the fact that people are together for the holiday, that people spend time together. And now, in 2019, it is about how much money can you spend? How can you impress people with all this fancy schmancy shit that's going to get old and you're going to get sick of looking at it after a week? I mean, what does all this mean? It is nothing more than a commercialized concept where people are grossly thrusting holiday cheer onto people when in fact not all of us are happy-go-lucky, and I'm sad to say that I am one of those people who is not a happy-go-lucky person at Christmas. In fact, I hate the fucking holiday. But there is a point where you have this overwhelming, well, you know, I'm supposed to be so happy-go-lucky and I'm supposed to spend all this money that I don't have on people that I never see. And shit that's going to be thrown away a week later. They're going to get tired of looking at it. They're going to take it back to the store with the receipt, get their money for it. I hate Christmas. I fucking hate Christmas. I used to love it. Make no mistake. I used to love Christmas. Dad used to love Christmas. Okay. Dad used to love Christmas.
I used to love Christmas.
I fucking hate Christmas.
Now I hate it.
I don't care for it.
There's no joy in it no more.
Well, it's just what I was saying here a moments ago.
Everything's all commercial.
It's about how much money you can spend. It's not about family getting together anymore. It's about impressing people with money. And these happy-go-lucky people thrusting their cheery, joyous dispositions on everybody else.
How much I spend on my
I'm not happy. They're not happy. A lot of people aren't happy. A lot of my friends aren't happy. I hate Christmas.
all about how much money you got to spend.
Yeah.
It's
We're
nothing about
Scrooges.
the giving or the
Humble.
Well, I'll be happy to wear that Scrooge badge with honor because I hate Christmas. I don't care for any of it. Not like I used to. It was never like this before. It was never like that.
Christmas always meant something, but now it's just
And yeah, it does have a lot to do with the fact that we've lost so many people over the years. And as I just pointed out, my mom is the last of 16 kids. She's number 16 of 16 children. Her last surviving sibling died back in March of this year, my Uncle Rick. It's been hell. And I think about that every day. You know, my mom is the last one out because, you know, eventually we all have to die. And now my mom is the last of all the kids from my grandmother. And I hate to think about that, you know, but I have to. I don't like to have discussions with my dad about death because I don't want to lose my dad. But we have to. I mean, you know, you have to have those talks.
reality.
Yeah, you have to have those talks.
Yeah.
You can't avoid the reality of you know, we're all going to die.
Like Uncle Danny with him and Elaine's got their burial plots already. The kids don't like it because they go over there. They see their mom and dad's headstones. They don't want to see that. Well, face reality, guys. You got to look at it. Dad and mom's not going to be here all forever. They got their things already picked, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yep. I don't like to think about that.
I'm being cremated, so I don't have to worry about it.
I really get I get uncomfortable having those conversations with my parents. See, like, I used to be afraid of death. I'm not anymore. Because, you know, anywhere is better than here as far as I'm concerned. But I don't like to have those conversations about, you know, my parents dying. It's really uncomfortable, but we have to have those talks.
You have to look at the reality. It's going to happen.
And speaking of death, I mean, I just found out that a warrior from the west side of the state passed away yesterday. He had DIPG. He was only 5 years old. And my heart is broken for his family, and I send my love and condolences. And now, with this happening right before Christmas, that just, and see, that's what I'm talking about. It's just, there's a certain standard about Christmas that we all have to live up to, some cheery disposition, and Christmas is so joyous and wonderful and happy-go-lucky. This family on the west side of the state just had a child fucking die as a result of an inoperable brain tumor, and you're going to tell them that they have to be happy-go-lucky too? I don't think so. I don't think so. And yeah, I survived cancer, sure. But it's still not a happy time for me. And all these people who say, well, you know, Jared, it could be a lot worse. You know what? Just shut the fuck up with that. It could be a lot worse. You know what? I'm sure it could be. But the pain that I feel is pain. Irrespective of the level that it's at, pain is pain. And I don't like Christmas. I hate it.
I used to love
Bah
when
humbug.
families got together and had Christmas and everything, and no, it just don't mean nothing to me.
It means it's a money grab holiday. It's and like you said, the commercialism is just.
Kids will go out and spend, or parents will go out and spend $300 and $400 on an object for one person, for one child. They'll spend about $200-300
Yeah.
for one child for one thing.
And they'll get tired of it after a week.
I mean, really,
It'll just sit there and collect dust.
$20 bill will make the kids real happy. Just buying dollar store stuff.
You know, and I even told some of my friends, and I don't know if I told you, but I told some of my friends, you know, you and Mom, people always ask me, Jared, what do you want for Christmas? And I say nothing. I want nothing. I have no wants for Christmas. Instead, for others, I have hopes. Primarily and particularly the people in the people in the childhood cancer world. I have no wants for myself, but I have hopes for them. I hope that they never have to be in the hospital at Christmas time, and I hope that my friends who are bereaved parents are able to get through the holiday. I know that it's difficult, but I hope that they can get through it. Those are the only two hopes I have. I have no wants for myself. I want nothing for Christmas. And Dad, he says, well, I'll give you money for Christmas. I don't care if I get anything for Christmas. I don't care. If I get nothing for Christmas this year, I don't care. It's another day.
But, Jared, have you ever not got something for Christmas?
I understand that, Dad, but
I've always did.
the standard of expectation that we all have to give each other something. We don't always have something to give.
Myself, if I'm here another year, I'm happy man.
I got my friends, I got my family, I have love in my heart, I have
Another day, I'm good.
I have love in my heart for my friends and my family. They love me. That's all I need. I don't care about material things. That's nothing to me.
A lot of people,
When I die, I'm not taking it with me. You know, I'm so sick of this unrealistic expectation that we have to We have to foist our cheery dispositions on people and put on a happy face and smile when inside we're broken.
What gets me is a lot of fans will buy these kids these Xbox and all this. Whatever happened to just go outside and play? Whatever happened?
Well, we're kind of getting off topic. I'm talking about people being together. That's what Christmas used to be about. It's
If you're all together having a nice dinner, that's great. That's the most precious thing right there.
because not everybody's going to have that this year. As I just pointed out, that a family on the west side of the state lost their son to an inoperable brain tumor. 5 years old. Now they're not going to have their son
The joy of seeing
to sit in front of a fucking Christmas tree opening presents. They're not going to get that this year or for the rest of their lives.
not going to get that joy
They've been robbed.
of seeing their child.
So if push comes to shove where they no longer enjoy Christmas now because of what just recently happened, I don't blame them a bit.
But that
I
is-
do not blame them.
Let that run through your mind for a long time and think what you would think if that happened.
And it all comes full circle, because at the top of the video I mentioned that there are people out there who will take friends for granted. I feel I've been taken for granted by a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have taken me for granted when I really and truly loved and cared about them, and I poured my heart out to them. I would have walked to every end of this earth for them because I love my family and my friends. There are people who took me for granted. Well, that's their problem.
Especially
I love them, but that's their problem.
when you have people ask you for money all the time.
It's not even asking for money. It's the fact that I cared for them. I cared a lot about them.
And they're gonna
I loved them, and they could just care less.
take it for granted.
Yeah, they take me for granted. They could care less about me loving them or caring about them.
Help just once, let's see if they'll do it again. Using it.
I don't mind helping people.
No.
I don't mind helping people. But when it comes to the point where I can't, because I might be struggling financially, then they don't want anything to do with me. Then they don't talk to me.
Where are they at?
They don't reach out to me. They don't
Where are they
check
at?
on me to see how I'm doing.
Yeah.
They don't consider my feelings or what I might be going through, the hardships that I'm facing. They don't consider that. And that hurts when people that you really love and care about are taking you for granted.
Not just you, it's everybody.
Yeah, I know that. But I can't speak for everybody else. I can only speak for myself. When my friends take me for granted, that fucking hurts. It cuts deep. You know? And it's amplified more around the Christmas holiday because it's like, you're impressed with money. I don't have a lot of it. Now what? You know, I struggle just like you, just like the next person. And, you know, social media it's a sandbox for narcissists because they can wave around all this money. They can flaunt large sums of money and, oh, I'm going to go to the hospital and do this. I'm going to go to the hospital and do that. I'm donating this. I'm donating that.
Or buy the most expensive.
Well, la-di-fucking-da for you. Good for you. So you're doing things that other people could only dream of doing, and you're rubbing it in their face.
I love it when a kid will run up to you, like my nephews, great nephews, come up to me and say, look at Uncle Wayne, look what Santa
Yeah.
got me. That's cool. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That makes me smile. Hey, yeah, wow, Grandpa or Santa Claus brought you that?
Yeah, you don't want to give away.
Well, they know that their grandpa brought it for them, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it's you know,
Yeah.
I hate Christmas, guys. I'm sorry. I don't share in your cheery, you know, disposition of
Enthusiastic about
yeah, I'm not enthusiastic about this holiday. I hate it. It brings out the worst in people. I don't care for it. Ever. I don't think I'll ever care for it unless if I find a woman, if I date a woman and she has children, yeah, that'll be different. I might put up a Christmas tree, some decorations, some ornaments, some lights, whatever. I'll get involved. And when they wake up on Christmas morning, they will have presents to open. I don't have kids. I don't have a family of my own. I don't have a wife or a girlfriend.
I don't have my grandkids.
I could care less about Christmas.
I don't have my grandkids that comes over and sees me.
Yeah. And that's another thing. It's the separation of family. The dysfunction of family really puts a damper on the Christmas holiday too, because you got people who can't stand to be around each other. You got relatives who fight constantly at each other's throats. There's people who don't want anything to do with each other. They keep their distance, or you become alienated to your own family. Like you become estranged to your family, which is really sad. And the Christmas holiday, again, at a time where this expectation of joy and happy-go-lucky smiling all the time, it's only amplified, and it just makes things worse. It just makes things worse.
Just like Grandpa says, he don't care about Christmas or anything no more.
No.
Because there's no sense to it. He says, why would I put up a tree? I don't have nobody comes over. I'm by myself. And I told him, I said, just like me, Dad, why should I put up decorations? I don't get to see my grandchildren.
Yeah.
I don't get to see their smiles. I never get to see them all come over and say, hey, Merry Christmas, Grandpa. I never had that joy like my brothers do.
Yeah.
My sister, they have their grandchildren that comes over and sees them for Christmas, have Christmas tree up and everything. I don't have that luxury. I don't have that fulfillment that I need.
Yeah.
I'll never have it.
Yep. Just like,
Never have it.
Yeah. That's why Dad doesn't like Christmas. Amy doesn't like Christmas for her own personal reasons that I'm not going to get into unless she wants to get into it, which she's in the bedroom, so I don't think she will. But she doesn't like Christmas for her own personal reasons. We all have our own reasons.
It's pretty sad, though, when you have your child call you and say, are you going to send me something for Christmas? Really? Really?
Yeah, you never hear from them any other time until it comes time for them to think they're going to get something from you. And then, just out of the blue, out of the clear blue sky, hey, you got anything you want to give me for Christmas?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
You know? She tried to be there for her, and then her daughter-in-law got her off.
This is why I hate Christmas.
We don't like it. Because it hurts during Christmas.
It is more painful than anything. It never used to be this way. You know, I can remember when I was a kid living on Chapin Road in the farmhouse, and this was after my cancer battle, you know. I would always decorate the tree. Yeah. Decorating the tree was something I look forward to every year.
Fun.
Put up garland and tinsel and wrap the lights around the tree. I'd make those paper chains, you know, with the construction paper. It was fun. I loved Christmas when I was a kid. My dad loved Christmas when we were kids. Just because we'd wake up on Christmas morning, well, Christmas Eve.
Wake us up.
Because we'd wake up on Christmas Eve, the morning of Christmas Eve. That was our tradition. We opened presents on the morning of Christmas Eve. I'd crawl in bed between Mom and Dad and say, wake up, it's Christmas Eve, you know, wake up.
Oh, wait a minute.
And
Get up.
my dad would just open his eyes like, oh. So just hold on, you know, let me, because he'd be in his pajamas yet. Remember those red pajamas you used to wear all the time? He'd be in his pajamas, and okay, well, you know, let Dad get up, let Daddy get up
Daddy, get up and get some coffee.
let me wake up a little bit, you know, and those were memories that I have of Christmas.
So I get up and give you a present.
I'd literally, Daddy, I want to open a present, please.
Both would be like that.
Yeah. But now that I'm 33 years old and I'm older and I understand what's really happening, I see things clearly, vividly. Christmas, this is what I think of Christmas. Because it is nothing more than a shit show charade of people who spend hellacious amounts of money on shit that nobody fucking needs. And even if it is for a kid, they're going to get tired of it. It is excess consumerism that means nothing. You're going to get tired of looking at the stuff. Give it a week, give it a year, give it a month. You're going to be tired of it.
To me, for Christmas, it's like you're rewarding your kids for going to school all year and buying them toys at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it feels like. Well, you went to school out where here. Let's buy you a bunch of presents. Yeah, reward.
And I'm not here to try to tarnish anybody else's happy-go-lucky Christmas spirits or moods or whatever. Whatever. You can celebrate whatever you want. But I'm speaking for the people who sit quietly in the back and they're too afraid to speak up and share their true feelings about how much they despise and loathe the holiday because they don't want to offend anybody. I don't care if anybody gets offended by this. Christmas is bullshit. It's bullshit. Just like a whole lot of other things. Bullshit. And you know what I love about just calling things? People don't like it because I call out certain people or certain things that nobody else is going to say. Nobody else is going to talk about it because, well, Jared, you got to pick and fight your own pick and choose your own battles. Well, you know what? I do. If I see something that's ridiculous, yes, I'm going to talk about it. And the excessive groveling and ass kissing and you allow yourself to become a puppet. It's embarrassing. I don't feel so confined to all that stuff. I'm happily unaffiliated and detached from groups and societies and organizations and clubs and cliques and allegiances and alliances. Fuck all of it. I am happily detached and unaffiliated with any of that stuff. I'll be damned if I'm going to strip my own. I'll be damned if I'm going to strip myself of my own dignity and integrity. I'll be damned. And I see lots of my friends do. I love them to death. I love them as individual people, not with the groups that they associate with, not with the cliques and the clubs and the societies and all this other stupid shit. When you start doing things for the sake of that, your curvature of your personality really tends to show. And it's very unattractive. And I'm just speaking my mind, and I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I tell it like it is. Because this quote unquote red-headed leprechaun doesn't take shit from anybody. But anyway, I wanted to keep this Sunday video update short and sweet, but I've been rambling on talking about things that irritate me. I've been here for about 45 minutes. I don't know if Amy or Dad's got any last words, but I'm going to give some last words and say much love to all of you. Thank you again so much for watching another installment of the Sunday video update. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope that you stay productive this week, and I hope that you don't take your friends or anybody for granted, because Dad and I had this talk last week, and we just now had that same discussion. But don't take your friends for granted. I know how it feels, and that shit hurts bad. When people that you really and truly love and care about really don't care about you. He's just there. He's a friend. I'm lucky. Please don't take your friends for granted. The people who love you and really care about you, don't take them for granted. Okay, just show them that you love them. Tell them that you love them once in a while. Tell them that you're thinking about them. Don't leave them sitting in the dark or sitting in the cold, wondering if anybody gives a shit. If you do, tell them, and most importantly, mean it. Don't just say it. Mean it. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week. I'm Jared Fuller, a.k.a. Jerry Bear. Peace out, guys. Take care.